This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by the Car Store's Auto World Service and Accessory Center.
Well, in the weeks or months ahead, you may be getting ready to take a road trip. And while you may be ready, the big question is your vehicle ready?
Well, Brian Spyros paid a visit to Auto World Service and Accessories in Salisbury to find out what key things you should be paying close attention to this time of year.
Before you leave home and head out onto the open road, it may be wise to make sure your vehicle is ready to handle the trip.
Temperatures are going to be increasing. You're probably going to be doing more driving, so it makes some sense that you make sure that everything is exactly the way it's supposed to be, so that when you do take your trip, you're not going to have any problems. It's going to be flawless, as opposed to breaking down somewhere that you would rather not break down.
Brian Bishop is with Auto World Service and Accessories in Salisbury. He walked us through some important maintenance tips. First up, direct your focus under your hood.
You always want to make sure that your coolant's working properly. Just like you want to keep your engine, running properly in the winter so you got heat. You want to make sure that the coolant's proper so that you have your engine does not overheat in the summer months.
Also, pay attention to belts and hoses.
Needless to say, if your belt starts to fray and it breaks, it's going to leave you somewhere. If you have a hose that's starting to bubble or starting to wear, then you might end up with a fluid leak, which is not going to be fun if it needs to repair. So anytime you get an oil change or anytime you get some maintenance done, always check your belts and hoses.
It's also vital you get your battery checked to make sure it's working properly.
So we talk about the battery. Is there anything specifically people would notice when opening the hood that would lead them to think, hey, something's wrong with it?
Well, some corrosion is normal, but when you start seeing a big buildup of corrosion around the actual battery terminals there, that can be a problem. When you got acid leaking out of your battery, not a good thing.
And don't forget about your air filter.
It's funny, air filter is one of the most overlooked items when it comes to maintenance. If you think about what you need for the engine to work, breathing is really important, getting that air mixture. And if your air filter is clogged or dirty, it can affect your fuel economy like there's no tomorrow. So making sure that you have a clean air filter is essential, usually about every 15,000 miles.
You also want to make sure none of your bulbs are blown.
That just makes sense, especially on a road trip. If you think about it, you're away, you want to make sure that that things are working properly, that you can get pulled over, by the way, if your taillight is out or your headlight's not working, your signals aren't working properly. So making sure those items are functional is obviously something you want to do before you take a nice trip.
Then there's that little thing in your vehicle called the air conditioner. Brian says now's the time to get it checked before the heat of the summer arrives. Finally, keep a close eye on those wiper blades. If they're streaking or starting to fray, it's time for a new pair.
Visibility is really important when you're driving down the road, and it's amazing to me with the kind of rain that we get here on the Eastern Shore, how difficult it is to see it with bad wiper blades. You get the streaks in front of you, it's difficult. So making sure your wiper blades are replaced, that they're clearing the windshield properly, absolutely essential.
Of course, while some of these things you can notice yourself, Brian says it's best to have it looked at and fixed by a professional.
If you're not putting your car up on a hoist and actually checking your suspension and other important items, you're not going to know those things are a problem. The advantage of coming to like Auto World Service, as an example, is every time you get your vehicle worked on or maintenance, we actually have a form that we go through and check the condition of your tires, the condition of your brakes, the condition of your hoses, the condition of your fluid, the condition of your belts, so that you can actually get a report card and, okay, yeah, so you may not need it now, but it'll show that it's yellow as an example as opposed to green, which is good, that it might be something you need to have attention paid to the next time you come in. But it helps you just keep a record of where you are and getting your maintenance done. Makes it a lot easier for you to follow up and to make sure that the car is where it needs to be.
And when your car is where it needs to be, that means one thing.
It'll make the summer trip a whole lot more fun.
And another part of your vehicle that you should have checked are your brakes. While we're down there around the wheels, check your tires as well, just to make sure they're ready to handle any long trips that you may be getting ready to take.
Well, not only do you want to make sure your vehicle is running smoothly, but your body as well.
But between the texting, the Google, the Pandora, our smartphones making us smarter while other parts of our everyday lives are making us dumber, we're going to get the answer next.
But maybe you just need to chill out and take time for yourself. We'll learn how a few basic moves can make a huge difference.
And while we're talking about bettering yourself, Dr. Oz says you may want to consider microdermabrasion.
Hi, I'm Dr. Oz. If you're over 40, your skin may seem lifeless and dull. Microdermabrasion, which uses exfoliant crystals to remove dead skin cells, can restore a youthful glow. Dermatologists and licensed estheticians carry out this procedure that also softens fine lines and reduces blemishes.